So earlier this week, we had Yom HaZikaron, the Day of Remembrance in the State of Israel. And as I was contemplating and thinking through what all of that meant, I received a text with information from one of my colleagues about how many people have perished. Since October 7th, 316 IDF soldiers were killed on active duty. This past year, And since October 7th, 849 military personnel. 934 civilians have been murdered, including 58 children. In total, 1,647 Israelis are now bereaving and grieving families. 487 parents who have lost children, 85 new widows, 163 children who are now orphans. Each represents a soul that's lost. Each represents pain that's almost unimaginable. And each represents yet one more reason why the state of Israel, I think, is in a constant state of PTSD, of post-traumatic stress disorder. And when we think about anybody who's in PTSD or the symptoms or what it's like, it's difficult sometimes to even talk to them or have rational communications. They're just sitting in pain. It's hard to process. And yet, less than 24 hours, after Israel Memorial Day, Israel Independence Day is observed. 77th Israeli Independence Day. So how do we reconcile those very different holidays, those very different feelings? I don't have the answer, I have an answer, which for me is found in Hatikva. Hatikva literally translates as hope, the hope, but beyond that, it is the national anthem for the state of Israel. In 1878, Naftali Hertz Imber wrote this poem, which was inspired by the establishment of Petach Tikva, the first Jewish agricultural settlement in then Ottoman-controlled Palestine territory. The settlement took its name from a verse of Hosea, "I will give her vineyards and the valley of Anchor for an opening hope." A decade later, Shmuel Cohen set the poem to music based on a Romanian folk melody from his childhood. The song was then adapted by early Zionist pioneers and became the Zionist movement's official anthem in 1897 at the very first Zionist Congress. Although it had become the anthem of the Zionist movement, it became in 1948 the unofficial anthem of the State of Israel, and it was finally adopted as the official anthem in 2004 when it was codified into law by the Knesset. When we think about what was happening in the land in the 1870s, it wasn't easy. It was a harsh land, it was a backwater. There were vacant lands left by owners who didn't live there. There was malaria. There were challenges. And yet people got along with the inhabitants who were living there. People were able to collectively work together with the Arabs, the Ottomans of the region, so it wasn't all bad. And I think in that collective hope, pioneers saw something emerge and grow from it. They began to see a possibility of living at first truly free in a Jewish settlement, something for many of them which was only a dream, only said in our liturgy, and not something that became a reality. The psalmists argue and teach those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. I think characterize this movement from darkness and doubt toward light and hope, toward acts of gemilut chasadim, of people coming together, collectively working toward the establishment of what became the state, a state that today houses Jews from around the world, Arabs, Druze, Christians, many of whom get along, a state today that is also deeply challenged as the results of October 7th, as a society gripped in pain, still mourning, struggles with its own challenges of where the government is going and what does it mean. Since 1860, 25,417 servicemen and women gave their lives for this nation, for a dream, a testament to the price of sovereignty, a price of the cost of hope. A hope that cannot simply exist in words, but has to exist in actions. A hope that also demands honest self-reflection, accountability, and a willingness to make difficult changes. Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim, the land of Zion and Jerusalem, a homeland, our homeland, is a Jewish hope not in the abstract. It's connected to real people who face real challenges, some of who respond in ways we understand, some of whom simply respond in ways that we cannot even fathom. This Shabbos, after Yom HaAtzmaut, we recognize that despite the staggering toll and loss of life, there's a juxtaposition between these two holidays, between remembrance and hope, between sacrifice, sovereignty, grief, gratitude, doubt, and faith. Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks wrote that Judaism is a voice of hope in the conversation of humankind, and that hope is not a feeling, but a discipline, a practice, a way of seeing the world, the commitment to believe that tomorrow can be better than today, that we can be better than today, that we can respond better than today. The healing of those deep wounds is possible, even after October 7th, when the state has not even returned to what it was like before. Our hope is not lost. Rather, it lives in our memories, it lives in our communities, it lives in our commitment to one another. It is our vision of a better future. I hope that we're able to remember the message of Hatikva, and that just as we kindled the lights of Shabbos earlier this evening, that we kindle the light of hope in our hearts, recognizing the pain of what is, looking forward to the possibilities of what can be tomorrow.